What's up? How is everybody doing? Let's talk about what we're going to do today. So today, I've got Ace Swinger on with us. Ace did over $100,000 in revenue on Valentine's Day. He's been an entrepreneur since he was 15. Told me that before I started the Coffee with Michael. You're pretty freaking cool. We are going to dig into all of that. I'm already super interested to talk to him a little bit more. This is going to be a great one. If you're brand new, welcome. ShineOn's the best print-on-demand company on the planet. All right, let's do it. Here we go. What's up, man?
What's up, Michael? Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Good morning.
Welcome, man. Thanks for your time.
Well, thank you, man. I'm flattered. I'm actually honored to be here.
All right, let's go over your revenue.
Money has been made in a lot of different industries, right? We made a lot of money in crypto. We did that whole, because you think about 2018, 2019, I'm making all this money in e-commerce. I'm seeing Bitcoin go from 6,000 to 10,000. So I invested in that.
Sure.
And we hit 20,000. So you could tell, you know what we did with that. So we went crazy with crypto at that time, right? So when Jabari said, yo, dude got the course, you know how we do. Let's go ahead and invest in the course so we could pull out some nuggets and, you know, help us continue doing what we're doing. So we started to learn. And then he was looking at POD, and I was like, I'm already familiar with ShineOn. I already know how that whole thing works. In 2012, I was creating designs for CDs. Right, I was creating CDs for these record companies. So I'm doing design. So I'm learning. I learned Photoshop way back then. So I knew how to do creatives and all that stuff. So all of my skill sets that I had generated up until this point, all serendipitously came together.
They're all coming together. That's awesome.
But the key to it was I had to commit and say, this is what I'm going to focus on. I'm not going to focus on nothing else. We have all these other things going on, but I'm going to focus on this and grind this one out. And we invested in the course, I believe, in the summer of 2022. Fooled around a little bit, didn't really get serious until I decided I'm going to get serious with it. Got serious with it in September. Was really putting money out there, investing money in TikTok.
This is less than a year ago. I mean, we're talking
less than
7 months ago.
Yeah, this is less than a year ago. I really serious said I'm going to commit. I'm going to stay focused on e-commerce. I'm going to take this course because this family, Tanya and Reggie, what they're going to provide me with is some of the little pieces that I was missing on when it comes to leveraging other marketing platforms. But it turned out to a whole lot more. Shout out to Reggie and Tanya. I love y'all family. Thanks for everything that y'all are doing, because it's not just about the course. What he's created over there is something completely different. He has something really nice going on.
Often, I kind of love what Reggie's doing, because one of the things we've really focused on at ShineOn is community. I mean, like, we're doing the Coffee with Michaels. We're in the group. Like, a lot of times people in the community, they know different people inside the company. I mean, I don't know any other print-on-demand companies like that. Like, they'll know me, they'll know Eric, they'll know John, Carlos, Tammy.
Shout out to Carlos. People. Shout out to Tammy. Carlos is my bro, by the way. Shout out to Carlos. Me and Carlos talk all the time, man. Carlos is
it's awesome. And like, I feel like Reggie is doing the same. He's really focused on community, and I love that. I feel like anyway, I really like what he's doing over there. I just feel like it really complements kind of the ethos here at ShineOn. But anyway, go ahead. That's awesome.
So I had still been working on some things. You see, I got this shirt on called GWAP, Generating Wealth on Purpose. That's something I have been involved in, because we were looking at how we could benefit. I was building my credit. How can I help other businesses leverage their credit and all this stuff? And I said, you know what? I'm gonna put this to the side, focus on what I was getting off of e-commerce. Decided to go crazy. I spent about $2,000 on TikTok and didn't make a sale. And I was like, yo, what is going on? Maybe I'm doing something wrong.
You're like, this ain't easy anymore.
This ain't easy no more. I wasn't doing, because Facebook had been so up and down. iOS 14 happened, it was crazy, right? So I was like, I want to learn a different platform. TikTok started taking my money straight out of my pocket. I hit Reggie up like, yo, this ain't working, bro. What's going on? He's like, yo, just stay committed, stay focused, boom, boom, do this, Decided to stay with it. September, doing my research, following the process. So when it comes to, like, people always ask, you know, what's the research process? What's the, you know, the scaling and the ads and all that stuff, right? I'll say this and I'll keep it real simple, because one of the things that I've learned prior to any course, one of the first things that was taught was that these platforms that we use to advertise are also search platforms. And because they're search platforms, you can search for what you want to see and you'll see it. Meaning that you can go and uncover a product that you're looking for simply just by searching for it on the platform. So when it came to to product research, I just dug back in my old bag. I utilized the techniques that Reggie was going over, which was very similar because again, we had been in the same rooms. We had learned some of the same techniques. Right. So the research part was extremely important, but because I had an eye for what could work because of my experience, it started to click faster for me because I started getting back into it more heavily again. Right. And as I started getting back into it, I took the advice that Reggie gave me as far as when it came to TikTok, and I found a product on Facebook, moved it over to TikTok. A simple slideshow, was a dog tag product, started selling it on September 29th. And I think we did $40,000 or $50,000 in October alone just off of that product, just off of TikTok.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Jabari had been on Facebook. So he's doing Facebook, I'm doing TikTok, trying to see which one is gonna
You guys are selling the same products?
Selling similar products, yeah, selling the same similar products. So we would make certain differences, little differences and stuff like that. So TikTok started going crazy for me. So it was like, all right, so we started to really go heavy on TikTok and learning TikTok, and obviously utilizing the course to learn TikTok. But then being in community, right? Just getting back into community, getting back into the ShineOn group, being involved in the ecom family group, just being back in community kind of put things and blended things a lot more for me, and it's made it more concrete that I'm really good at this. I know what I'm doing. I just need to stay focused long enough to be able to attack it wholeheartedly and really go for it, right? So that product that was selling really well in October, I moved on into September, which was trying to grind toward.
Real quick. So TikTok, the video based, all that kind of stuff. Are you shooting your own like ads with your phone?
So
or how are you getting your ads?
No, the first ad was a slideshow.
You mentioned that.
Yeah, created in Canva. First ad was a slideshow created in Canva. Had done some spying on some competitors, uncovered, what the music was. If you're part of EFA, Reggie does all that for you. It's easy as crazy. But anyway, so just continuously looking at what's working on TikTok, spending a lot of time on that platform using their search tool and searching through and seeing what was working, and how long the transitions were, and some of the technical things that sometimes people don't really pay attention to. How long the transitions were, what kind of transition, did it open up with smoke? Did it not open up with smoke? Did it close out with smoke? Did it fade out the music? So I kind of studied a lot of those details, mimic them as closely as possible.
Still doing slideshow?
Still doing a slideshow. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep. So ran that, went crazy. In November, I'm selling the same. I'm still testing other stuff. I'm testing blankets and message cards. It's still all print on demand stuff. I'm on this particular store. I'm focused only on print on demand product, and trying to just grind through it all and finding success and really getting back into it. Like, all right, we're really doing something now. TikTok started to kind of slow down for me a little bit, but I also was putting some money in on Facebook as well. So I started leveraging both platforms. And by leveraging both platforms, I was able to kind of benefit from the decline in TikTok. I wasn't put in such a hole because Facebook was kind of keeping up with it as well.
For sure.
That went really well until Black Friday. The Wednesday before Black Friday, Shopify shut my account down. The reason why is I had bought a PlayStation 5 and I wasn't going to use it. I was going to just resell it. And I put it up on that same store. Shopify shut it down because they thought I was reselling products that I was not licensed to sell. So for my Black Friday, I couldn't sell anything. You put a
PlayStation up on your jewelry, on the store you're selling jewelry?
Only because I wanted to have a link. It wasn't active. It was only because I wanted to have a link in case when I had somebody that wanted to buy it, I could just give them the link.
So it was like in draft, you're saying?
It was in draft. It wasn't active.
Wow, they still hit you for that, huh?
Still hit me for it. They want to see receipts and all. I sent them the receipts, but it slowed me down. It completely slowed me down.
Yeah, what do you do? Did you throw the product on another store, or what do you do?
I quickly, and within 48 hours, I had a whole nother store, threw the product up on another store, threw a pixel in there, tried to, and
oh my gosh. And this is around Black Friday?
This is during Black Friday. This is Friday.
God.
This is the Black Friday. This is Friday itself. This is Thursday. Wednesday, they shut me down. Thursday, I'm like, I gotta create a new store. Friday, new store is up. Friday, I'm trying to catch sales on Friday night. Now, sales are still coming on the Shopify stores that they had everything on hold on the first store, but I couldn't access any of that money. So I was like, I'm not gonna keep giving y'all money if I can't access it. So let me give another store the money, right? Running ads, trying to catch up. It was a mess. Stayed in the game though, and went crazy, and then it kind of picked back up during December after after they released my account. A week later, they released the account, and it started to pick back up a little bit. But because I had taken such a hit in the heat, it was rolling. And with these algorithms, when you're rolling, you put a pause on it. It's very hard to restart and restart.
Well, also, like, it would be hard to talk me out of this. I am almost convinced that Facebook, like, the algorithm is so advanced now, it knows what you're selling. Like, take one of our message card jewelry products or the dog tag or whatever. Like, I think it scrapes the entire image. It's looking at words, looking at product. And if there is somebody selling that product well, high click-through rate, good conversion rate, I think Facebook, like, gives preferential treatment to that person. And if you, like, launch a new store, I think Facebook knows, like, they think you're a copycat. And I do not think they're giving copycats the boost. Now, I'm not saying there's, like, I always tell people, imitate before you innovate, right? It's like, you kind of got to look at what's working and try to, in a way, replicate it. But I think if you carbon copy, it is not going to help you in any ways. I say that to say, it sounds like you kind of experienced that because you had the store, is working super well, right? You launched the new store, and you were saying it was kind of picking up, but it never got all the way back to the old store. Is that kind of what you were saying?
The new store made sales. The old store was, it took a while to get back, but that product never came back. That particular product never came back. That never came back. So there was other products that we were moving. So of course I had my brother, yo man, what you selling, right? So he told me what he's selling. He's like, yo. So I was like, all right, man. So I saw it. I see the design. Of course, we share with each other, man. That's one of the things that I love him for, is we share. We never try to be too tight with our stuff.
In print on demand, having somebody that will be open with you about their designs and stuff, it really does make a huge difference. When I was getting into it, there was a guy named Peter. He used to be a big ShineOn seller. He and I were talking like every day, and he would show me the stuff he had done in the past that worked. And like, he would share his numbers, and it was so eye-opening. Like, I started to get a feel for how the designs needed to be and how the kinds of phrases that were working. And then interestingly enough, like, he and I would never share the exact phrases that were working for us, like in the moment, but we would always share after the fact. And interestingly enough, he and I were both scaling a product at the exact same time. And when we showed each other what it was the same phrase. We had completely different designs. We were doing it in different ways, but we both found the same winning phrase, and it both lifted us through the entire Q4. It was awesome. But anyway, having somebody, a buddy, that you can do that with, it is invaluable. It really shortcuts your learning.
It does. And we have been in the trenches together, so I know I could trust them, right? So now, of course, I didn't take his design exactly as it was. I switched it up. I added colors. I switched up some of the words. I switched up the tagline. I made it unique, right? But it was still along the same lines. It was humorous. It was tongue in cheek, and it was something that we started selling in December, and it was showing some promise. However, because of how things go from December 25th to throughout the new year, we kind of shut things down and waited to relaunch this particular message card product in January. So in January of this year, January 1st, I turned the ads back on, and I'm going through the process again of slowly, building up the budget, slowly building out so that we can get to the point. Because what happens when it comes to Facebook, they don't like you throwing too much at them too fast. Kind of want you to be a little narrow-minded as far as what you're focused on, right? So I learned that in the past. So I kind of brought some of that stuff back and just kind of started slow again, right? But I forget at times that you have to start slow, and then sometimes I get overzealous and I throw more money at it, and I lose. And it's like, I need to come back and reel it back in.
Throw good money after bad.
Yep. Yeah, throwing good money after bad. So at this time, the dog tag product is selling a little bit.
We're in January of this year.
We're moving in January of this year. We're moving into this message card product. Jabari's selling this message card product on one type of necklace. I'm selling a similar message card product on a different type of necklace, and we're trying to see, what works and how, Now he's running a store on his own. I'm running a store on my own. We're trying to leverage as much as we can and gather as much information as we can and share it between each other, right? So he's making his sales on that product.
That's awesome.
He's running on Facebook. He didn't have a lot of success on TikTok. I had more success on TikTok with the dog tag, not so much success on Facebook with the dog tag. The message card product didn't work so well on TikTok. We moved over to Facebook and started building on Facebook. Now, one of the things that I knew as far as when it came to a product that wins is to create multiple iterations of either the design, or not either, but of the design, of the tagline, the message, and try to maximize all the different points that you can to see what hits, and ended up locking in on a design that really hit really, really well.
So it was the same phrase, but you were doing variation testing.
Exactly. Same phrase, variation testing,
Sorry.
which means that you might add a color, take out a graphic, add a graphic, add a comma or a period, and make it a new sentence. So little things, right? Bolding out a phrase, bolding out a word.
So hey, can I jump in real quick? I want to make sure anybody that's new in the audience, they're staying caught up with this. So what Ace is saying, and Ace, you correct me if I get this wrong. You found a phrase that was winning for you, right? Yep. Like there were signals in your data, like coming back from Facebook and TikTok, that the phrase itself was on, like you were onto something. And then what you did was, after you kind of locked in on the phrase, you started testing little things in the design. You'd change a color, you'd change like a decal or something like that. And you were basically tweaking the design and running all these tests over and over again to see if you could get like the design that maximally complements the phrase. Then you create a powerhouse product that sells super well. That's what you're talking about here. You locked in on the phrase. Now you're testing different designs to try to see if you can like really get that thing optimized.
Exactly. And really hone in on what works, because again, it's about uncovering what the customer is valuing out of this. So looking at the comments, looking at, what they're saying. Oh, I would buy this. I would buy this if it said this. Okay, I'll write it up and I'll send them a link for it to have them buy it.
That's awesome.
So staying active, right? Staying active in your business, knowing what's going on with your inside of on your Facebook pages, even on your comments on TikTok. If you advertise on TikTok as well, stay in there, because the people are going to kind of tell you what it is that they like or don't like about it if they are commenting, right? So pay attention to that engagement. So we uncovered this particular design that worked really well, and this obviously is taking, because I want to take it slow. We're talking about January. We're taking a whole full January 30 days to test this product out. At the same time, again, ShineOn Pro is launched. I invest in ShineOn Pro. Why? Because I invest in my education all the time. I dig into the IM scaling method. Oh, I know this. I used to do this. 110, all that, right? So
are you talking about the IM algorithm?
Yeah, IM algorithm and all that. Yeah, all that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I had learned that. From another individual that I had spent some money on that course.
That's awesome.
But it just revived what we already knew, right? I'm like, all right, so this is working really well throughout the end of January. So let's kind of ramp things up going into February. So January we did $60,000 in sales, majority of that on this one particular product. And was like, all right, so let's go in now and start attacking some of these scaling strategies. Now, it wasn't working for me on TikTok. I tried a few times and I got sales. Yes, I got sales on TikTok and it worked, but it didn't work as well as it did on Facebook. 90% of the sales came from Facebook. And with Facebook, again, you're putting money onto a platform and you want this platform to return $1 to you. It's not necessarily, it's no real specific, and anybody's going to say it's really no real specific technique that you're using. What you're really trying to do is you're trying to find a pocket, increase the amount of money that you're going to spend in that pocket, and you get more results. That's really all it is, right? It's no, now Facebook gives you different options as to how you can increase the amount of money that you spend on an ad. You can increase the amount that you spend by duplicating ads, increasing budgets. You can increase the amount that you spend by creating different types of ad sets, such as CBO campaigns, ABO campaigns, bid caps, manual bids. All those different things just give you a different way of spending money, but ultimately you're just spending money and really locking in on the audience that you've captured with Facebook. And Facebook does a wonderful job on its own of uncovering those people for you. They allow for you to create custom audiences and lookalike audiences and all this beautiful stuff that they do that allows for us to scale. And I decided that, again, we're going to take it slow and we're going to go too crazy. And because this was a new ad account, Facebook was limiting me a little bit as to how much I could spend. They ended up capping me at about $5,000 a day that I could spend. So I was kind of capped out there. So when it came to Facebook, right? So of course, I'm in community. I got Reggie, I got Jabari, I got Calvin, I got a couple of other people that I could now, go back and forth with, right? So I'm quiet, because what happens when you don't make money, you loud in the chats. Oh man, this ain't working. Oh, this. When you start making money, you're quiet because you focused on that ad. You ain't focused on complaining about anything, right? So I'm daily managing my ads. I'm continuously staying in front of it, continuously studying. I'm watching your old videos in ShineOn Pro. I'm going back and watching some of my old programs. I'm digging back in ShineOn Reggie. I'm hitting him in the chat. He's dropping information on me. Shout out to Reggie, man, for dropping all
You're
that
doing
stuff.
the digital marketer's toast every week.
I'm doing it. I'm drinking. I'm out here guzzling it out of this cup every day. I'm in front of this computer. Like I said, I work a 24/7, right?
Yeah.
So we're in front of this thing constantly, and really looking at, how can I now leverage all of this experience that I have been talking about over these years? How can I leverage that to have a really powerful month? And what I ended up doing was just putting it in the public that I was going for 100K that month. That was the only difference.
Nice.
Is making a public statement.
So this is February we're talking about, right?
This is February. So the end of January going into February. And I posted my January numbers and said 100K for next month. So I had to commit myself to doing it. There's a spirit of things, right? It's not necessarily always concrete and logic as to how things work and why they work. Sometimes there's an ethos where because you're a part of a community, because you're tuned in and you're on that same frequency level, and if you claim something, it's possible that you're gonna actually accomplish it. So I stayed tied in, but what I also did was I lent my expertise to other people in the group. In the group I was a part of, as far as Reggie, because what Reggie did was very slick, right? Reggie got all the people that's doing something to mentor the people that's on their way up, right? And he got us to do it for free as volunteers. And one of the beautiful things about that is if you are willing to give up of yourself and go out there and give to others, it'll be crazy how you start to receive.
Yep.
So I made myself available to help out, the program that I was a part of. I made myself available to newbies and started. And as I'm going through stuff with newbies and I'm telling them to make this change and go try this on their ad, I go try it on mine. As I'm committing to making sure that I stay in front of this thing and I follow the steps that I put out in that post to commit me to making sure that I get to that 100K that month, I'm doing all of those things. I'm going back and I'm looking at my numbers. I'm going through my KPIs. I'm staying on top of things. I'm managing my ads. I'm managing my budgets. It becomes a full-time job when you're really tuned in like that, right? And of course, I got a family and I got other things going on, but I really stayed focused on, can I maximize what I've been doing in January into February, and within the first 14 days of February, because of the holiday, you hit $100 and some thousand.
I really love you're hitting on a principle when you said that you kind of turned around, you started pouring back in the community. There's a verse in the Bible where it says, freely give as you've been given, is how I think it goes. But it's kind of hitting this concept that, like, if you want to be filled up, you have to empty yourself out. If you want to increase your inputs, you do it by increasing your outputs. You know what I mean? It's like, it's this interesting, it's kind of that, that like God guides a ship in motion. Like, I'm not trying to make this overly spiritual. I'm just saying there's a principle underneath all of this, right?
Yes.
Like, where like there is some boomerang effect where, like, once you start to pour out, right, it makes room to fill up again. And like the filling up is of a higher quality than what you just had that went out. It's like you're constantly like becoming a new person in this way. Anyway, it's just there's something interesting there in that, but I've seen that over and over and over again with tons of people. This is kind of why mentors, you notice, like, the best mentors, dude, how do they do it? It's like every year they're sharper. Every year they're sharper and they're sharper and they're sharper. And it's this, they have locked into this thing, and they just keep leveling up because of it. That's super awesome.
Yep. So it's I really wish I could say that there was any particular trick or anything. It really isn't. Facebook and these different ad platforms, they're in the business of making money, of course, so they'll take your money. But they provide feedback as to where your money is going, and if you really know how to read those metrics, you'll know where your money is going, where it's being wasted, and where it's being where it's actually capitalizing. Of course, I have to leverage other apps to make sure that all of my tracking is done correctly. But for the most part, all of that 100K was done on Facebook advertising. It was the same design, but about 4 different variations.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, it doesn't sound like you're testing in Europe or anything like that. Are you going to consider that this year? Please do. I'm telling you.
So yes, absolutely.
Our top sellers right now to try it, because everyone's scared because of the language barrier and VAT and some other things. But like, the people that are doing it are doing really well.
I absolutely will. I've sold internationally, of course, when we're doing the drop shipping, because China you can get to obviously get to anywhere from anywhere, right?
Yeah,
We did that. But one of my mentors, this British guy, Jamaican British guy who lives in Florida now, was making a killing over there in UK on a pin product. And
that's awesome.
And so I know for sure that UK and overseas, man, we could definitely it's definitely a lot that we can do there, and absolutely is going to be added. Now, have I targeted them? No. Have we made sales to them? Absolutely. I've got euros in my PayPal right now that's awesome. That I haven't converted over yet.
I will tell you that where we're seeing people get the most success is in these foreign languages, and it's because there's a barrier to entry. Like once you're in, nobody else is coming through, because it's like none of the lazy people want to do it. You know,
that's right. Yeah, so, go to extra mile. Yeah, for sure.
I'd love to see some of you guys in the Ecom Family Academy crack the nut in like Germany, France, Sweden. I'd love to see more of that this year. Anyway, and we at ShineOn obviously are 100% at your disposal on helping you and supporting you, and whatever you need from us, you tell us, we will be there lickety split to make it happen. Let's kind of round this out. So your story is super inspirational, right? Not only just kind of the struggles and the skill sets and all the stuff you've overcome to be successful, but I mean, like, look at this. You nailed $100,000 in February. I mean, there are people watching this right now that would kill to be able to unlock this, right? Like, it's paying off bills. It's an extra vacation. It's being able to quit a part-time job and having more time at home with people. For some folks that pick up ShineOn, this becomes full-time. They quit their job. They're able to have more time. I mean, this is kind of what Reggie talks about all the time. It's about creating the lifestyle that you truly want to live and providing a better life for your family and all this stuff. Let's zero in for new people now. What are like your top 2-3 tips for new people that just listen to all this, just watched all this? They say, yeah, I want this too. What are your top 2-3 tips?
Top 2-3 tips. The first thing is just stay committed to your education. You're going to have to learn a new way of speak. You're going to have to learn a new way of looking at the world. Remove yourself from being a consumer to being a marketer. Just stay committed to your education. Don't be afraid to invest in your education. It doesn't have to be money. You can invest time, you can invest energy with other individuals who need help with things, but you can definitely stay committed to learning as much as you can.
Totally. I've spent who knows how much money on education. It's ridiculous. I'm with you on that completely. What's number 2?
Number 2, I would say don't focus on the product. Right? Focus on the essence or the underlying thing. It's hard as a salesman for me to make this make sense to people, right? Because as a salesman, the product doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on this.
Right? It's the
best business owners. They could literally run the entire damn business from a dashboard and a spreadsheet without even knowing what the product, the customer, any of that stuff is. Like, it's secondary, honestly, to the, like, you're providing value, you're solving a problem. Anyway, I'm doing your number 2 for you.
No.
I'll hand the mic
again. And see, that's the thing. You're uncovering. So in your research. Your research is not there for you to uncover a specific product. The research is there for you to uncover a trend, for you to uncover the sentimentality behind a thing, for you to uncover the reason why people are buying. So your research will show you multiple different products, all targeting the same kind of person, and they're all selling. So it's not about the product, it's about why is this thing selling. So as you do more research and you start to kind of put these things together, you realize that this is why this thing is selling. And that worked for this particular message card product. It wasn't, and a lot of people have gone on to copy it, and a lot of people have gone on to try and use it, and Reggie has shown it in research studies and all this other stuff, and it won't work for them because they haven't uncovered why it works. It works because it's humorous. It works because it speaks from a man to a woman, and it speaks in a way that a man would speak to a woman. Most men are not going to get in this Shakespeare bag when it comes to telling a woman a poem. No, they're going to say, yo, I ain't the perfect dude, but I'm yours and you're mine. Like, it's about understanding who's buying it, why they're buying it, who is going to, right? And the small nuances. And a lot of courses that people buy, you know, they want you to buy these apps and buy this to go do this research and buy that. But again, these platforms have all this stuff available to you. You just search for it, right? It's all available. You got all these apps. You got free apps, paid apps, and all that. So stay focused on your research, not for the sake of uncovering a winning product, but for the sake of uncovering why something is being sold and why it is being marketed the way it's being marketed and why it's actually having the success that it's having.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on this one. I tend to say the same thing a little bit differently. I talk about how, like, the jewelry item itself, it's just a delivery device for the phrase. The phrase is that thing that is the humor that creates the emotional impact. And, you know, we say it's the phrase that pays. If they cry, they'll buy. I've got a new one for y'all this week. I got this one from Sam Parr. If it bleeds, it reads. If they bleed, they'll read, right? It's like, do anything to move them emotionally. Like, that is the entire product.
Yep.
That is the entire product. It really is. It's not the jewelry. It's not the paper, the cards printed. It's not a box. It's none of that. It's about the emotional experience you're creating through the product. That is what people are buying.
Yep. And I would say the third thing would be to find your community. A lot of the stuff is not about the details and the mechanics or the tactics as to why things work. It's really about the energy that you come into this thing with, whether you're going to commit to it or not, whether you're going to stay focused as to why this thing works, and then stay in community that keeps you accountable. Because accountability is gonna make you stick to those two other prior things that I spoke about, right? So when you become accountable, not just to yourself and your family, but you become accountable to a peer, you become accountable to a group, you become accountable to a Facebook mentorship or whatever it is. When you become accountable, it forces you to get out of this zone where you're willing to accept failure for yourself, but you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of somebody else. You don't want to not keep your word to that group that you became in community with because you got lazy or whatever, something coming up in life or whatever the case is, right? So keeping some sort of accountability partner or some sort of accountability group is crucial. Not for the sake of complaining about anything or, oh, this ain't working for me, or for somebody to feel bad for you, any of that type of stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. No. What I'm talking about is for you to be able to discuss real stuff that's going on in your business, how somebody was able to overcome, be able to exchange information. That's what I'm talking about, right?
It's iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron. That's the benefit that I've had by being in community with such individuals, like I said, like my brother Jabari and so many other people that we're in community with, not just in the ecom family, but just outside of it. Like, again, we spent money and put thousands and thousands of dollars into mastermind programs. Those individuals that were in those programs with us are still a part of our community, right? Yeah. So find your community and stay accountable to what you say you're going to do in this business. If you're going to do it.
You know, something that people overlook is, like, when you get into entrepreneurship and business, you learn about this the principle of leverage, right? And it's kind of this idea where you have a small input with an oversized output, right? It's kind of the idea behind leverage. One of the things you're talking about here is, like, your relationships, your network it gave you leverage, right? It allowed you to shrink time when it came to your ability to level up and to figure out what's working and to scale better, right? And people don't invest in that or think about that enough. Like, part of finding your community, it's creating leverage for yourself so you can do things faster. You're expediting the inevitable, right? You're expediting time. You're shrinking it. You're allowing yourself to get to level 10 a hell of a lot faster than if you were on your own. That's the whole idea behind that. I totally agree with you. Now, there is a fourth one that you haven't mentioned that I'm going to remind you of real quick. Well, just in your story, right? There's this arc in your story. Maybe I'm wrong here. I want to get your feeling on this. It sounded like focus, right, was a big part of your story. It sounded like, you're kind of scattershot all over the place, which, again, I think that can have its value if you're disciplined about it, right? But it sounds like things got focused for you, and that was when you really started to see gains. I mean, what's your feeling on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Being focused and it kind of ties in again to the commitment side, to say that I'm going to commit myself and my energy to put all other things aside and focus primarily on this. And if I can do that, I gave myself 90 days. If I can do that for 90 days, so it goes into what we were talking about, beginning of October to December, right? Through December was my 90 days. And I stayed committed to it and stuck with it. So being focused long enough to see the result when it comes is a key. And that's been my thing. And like I mentioned, in January, I made a post about my January numbers. And one of the first things, or one of the last things that I said was commitment and staying consistent with this thing is going to make the difference for me this time around. So regardless of all the prior success, it doesn't mean anything if you're not going to stay consistent in this business. And the reason why POD was attractive, and the fact that Reggie and Tanya were introducing POD as their way to kind of get this message across, is because of the failures that we had in the past when it came to suppliers and their lack of being able to get a supply on time. So being able to deal with a print-on-demand company has allowed for me to focus on my business of generating revenue and have a partner, not just a supplier, but have a partner in actually fulfilling this particular product for me. So having somebody that I can email and say, hey, this person didn't get their stuff, can y'all please help? And that get taken care of without me having to physically take care of it makes a big difference. The fact that you guys are responsive makes a big difference to me. The fact that I can get Carlos on at any time I need need anything done, I can hit Carlos and Carlos is going to respond to me. Makes a big difference for me. There's a thing about ShineOn and leveraging a print-on-demand company like yours that'll make a difference for a company like mine. Now, it comes with a trade-off. The trade-off is you guys get paid too. So I'm generating revenue for ShineOn. I know ShineOn is going to take care of me because that revenue is helping to grow ShineOn. So we're partners in this thing here. On the flip side of that, when dealing with suppliers, they get your money. They could care less of whether or not that shipment comes in. There's certain things that you have to deal with on that side of things that are so much more painful than having to deal with what we're doing with ShineOn. And on top of that, like Jabari just said, it's all done on the computer. It's all Canva. I don't have to travel nowhere and go see nothing. I don't got to go put nothing in no bag nowhere. I don't have to get no box and have no storage in my house. I don't have to do none of that. I could just sit here on Canva and design something and put it out and test it. If it don't work, scrap it, go on to the next, move on, deal with my customer service. I got a couple of VAs doing customer service, so that's all good. So it's like, it's a really nice way to get involved in e-commerce if you're deciding to do so, because not saying dropshipping, anything wrong with that model, is just that if you're not ready or you're not equipped, there's going to be some pain there. Having a partner that's going to be there with you along the way, especially when it comes to fulfillment, make sure that product gets out and the person gets that product fast amount of time, because that's what we're battling with now. Back in 2015, somebody would wait a week, 2 weeks, but now 3 to 5 days, it got to go out, right? So having a U.S. supplier that could get product out, that I could access, I could have customer support, makes a huge difference to me. And hitting those numbers wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have a partner such as ShineOn to do it.
Dude, I really appreciate you saying that. And by the way, it's as reciprocal as it could possibly be, because we are very aware that without you guys, we have no business. Like, you're everything. Like, if you guys aren't succeeding, we aren't succeeding. So like, it's paradoxical, but you know, this is something that I've got to hand it to Eric Taz, our CEO. He has seen from day one. From day one, he has always gone above and beyond to make sure that our merchants are supported. And he'll, you know, occasionally he'll make some kind of promise that to a merchant that'll drive the rest of us a little crazy, because we got to go do something. But his mind is always, his heart is always in the right place. He is going above and beyond to make sure that you all have exactly what you need to succeed. You know, and by the way, this has become a theme throughout the company. I want to give a real quick kind of anecdotal example. About 2 weeks ago, I had a merchant that was scaling reach out to me, and they said, hey, I don't want to give away the product they were selling, but they were saying, hey, when this product ships to the customer, sometimes they complain because of the way, like when the product was opened up, the way it looked. And what was happening here, this particular jewelry item had an extender, the extension chain, where it was like 4 or 5 inches. And what was happening was, when the product was shipped, like a long time ago now, what we found was the chain was getting tangled in the back during shipping. So what they did to prevent that was they would rotate the chain link through the loop, and they would have it so the chain extension is what was showing when the customer opened the box. But that's different than what was in the mock-up, right? So it solved the problem, but it created another one, is my point. And some customers would open the box, they wouldn't even get the chain out to see, oh, this is what I bought. They just open the box and they go, oh, this is different. And so the merchant reached out to me and he said, hey, we've got a problem, we need to fix it. I called into our director of ops, like right away. I mean, our director of ops immediately got up from his computer, went over, grabbed 2 subject matter experts on the floor, pulled them aside, and they got out a bunch of boxes and a bunch of these products, and they started experimenting with different ways that they could ship it so that they could solve both problems. They could keep the chain from getting tangled up and make sure the presentation was right for the customer. They solved that in like a half an hour and started immediately implemented a process and started shipping it differently that day, right? Yep. And it was all because like we try to keep an open door with the merchants. We try to be talking and understanding what's going on. And it's like the ethos of the company now. It's incredible that there's just this theme kind of woven throughout all of our employees, and they're amazing. Like my hat's off to everybody that is working at ShineOn. The stuff that they do, the commitment they have is unlike anything I've ever seen working for a different company. So anyways, I really appreciate you saying that. It's completely reciprocal.
Absolutely. It makes a big difference. And again, our relationship started back in 2016. All right. You know, and all the updates that you guys made over the years, I mean, you guys are staying on top of it. It's consistent. And that's the key word, I guess, for the day is consistency. Just stay consistent with what you're doing. If you're going to get in this game, stay consistent with it. It's going to pay off.
I need to go look at your ShineOn account number. It's probably like under 100. Because you were one of the first ones through the door.
Well, see, that's a new account. Back then, I guess I could,
okay.
yeah, back then I could say the names of my stores. I was running a store called Ace Pro Discounters and another store called the Brooklyn Depot.
Nice.
Probably, if y'all have been on Facebook long enough, y'all probably saw them stores, man. We made millions of dollars on those stores, and so awesome. That was a long time ago. Yeah, this account that I have with you guys is everything from scratch, brand new store, brand new account, brand new everything.
That's awesome. So real quick, let's recap your tips. Stay committed to your education is tip number 1. Yep. Tip number 2, don't focus on the product, right? It's tip number 2. Tip number 3, find your community, right? Yep. Absolutely amazing.
What we do as entrepreneurs, especially in e-commerce, is could change a lot of people's lives. So, I think it's the more people that we could get taught, the better. You know what I mean? It's not about competing with each other or cannibalizing anything. It's all about us just being able to continue paying it forward, because the amount of money that we invested into the course, it was minimal compared to what you get back in value. So being able to make yourself available to people to show them and teach them what you have, because even though I've been in the game just as long, I've never made myself available like that. And I think it's important that I do so. Shout out to Ecom family. The link is in there. Jabari posted it in there. Y'all can see that in there. And definitely, look out for what we got coming as well, because I think we want to continue to grow the community. So Jabari and I are working on some stuff in the background as well.
Awesome. Well, hey, Ace, thanks for coming on. All right, everybody.
Appreciate you, Mike. Thanks,
guys. Till next time, happy selling. Take care.